Everybody knows it's corn silage time. They get to know the sound of the tractor real well. It's all dry cows and bred heifers. Bunch of younger animals. That's my breeding age group, and a little bit younger ones there. Still can't believe how well this phone zooms in. Zooming in on all the weeds I need to cut. Alright, up here in the weeds, this is Dad's old New Holland 256 rake. Gearbox went out of it a while ago. It wasn't quite wide enough after we started using that New Holland disc bind. Worked fine for the old hay bind, but the disc bind, this wasn't quite wide enough. I had bought my 258 a few years ago, and this one just kind of became a parts donor after the gearbox went out. So, worked out alright. There's a U-joint go out on my rake, and the yokes were pretty worn, and one actually got kind of distorted. It was kind of oblong up here. So, these look like they'll fit right on. Not sure if I'll have to change that U-joint out or not. It's really tight, but it's also not moving either, so guess I'll see if I can get her lubed up and moving again. If not, and make sure it ain't got too much play in it when I do get it moving. And if not, I'll have to put a U-joint in here, but having these here will save a lot of money. So we'll check back in a while. Alright, what I got here is a little, how do they call it, a grease joint cleaner or something or other. I don't know. Uh-oh. Kind of low. A little liquid wrench in there. I have pretty good luck with these things. Even grease zerks that get kind of froze up. Change the grease zerk out. Instead of the lubricating oil, I'll put a penetrating oil in. And Seems if you can get a little liquid wrench in there and let it sit and keep working at it, you can really get things freed up. I'm hoping just kind of get that dry grease worked out a little bit. It's tough. We got some in there. This in a little tighter. Alright, ended up putting a different greaser on. I filled that little gun up about 3 times and got her moving pretty good. And I don't got any play in it, so I think we got ourselves a good U-joint. It'll save me a lot of dinking around. Here's that original one. You can see that hole is just not quite round. It's kind of off to the side a little bit. They're wore pretty hard. I could just weld that up or build that up with some weld, but with that being kind of kittywampus there, it's not going to go together very well. So why mess with that when you can just steal this? Well, I guess next thing I'll pump a bunch of grease in here, put her on the rake, see what other kind of trouble we get into. All right. Got that all on there. While I was at it too, the crank on this side was kind of boogered up. See, the spring's all busted up, and this little guide tube was broke. So I took the one off of that 256 and got that mounted up. Works a lot nicer. So hopefully this thing will be in good shape. I did too over the winter. I found a pretty good deal on this rake at an auction. Another 258, but this is hydraulic driven. So this ought to work really nice, and probably that rye and stuff like that, heavier stuff. You know, you could slow the tractor down and keep that basket spinning. Keep the hay moving, whereas you get into heavy stuff with that, that's all ground driven. You know, get something too heavy, it'll just stop the wheels up and bunches up the hay and makes a pretty big mess. So this ought to come in handy too, and between these 2 rakes and the merger, I think I've got enough hay turning equipment. Curious to try that merger out. I've been getting mixed reviews on it, so we'll see what happens when we get that far. I won't probably use that on any rye or anything unless I can't get it dry. Then I might borrow my buddy's inverter table, and we'll use the inverter part of it and go from there. So I don't think we'll need it. It's been drying pretty good, and they pushed the rain back another day, so more than likely it won't rain at all, but you know, we'll see what happens. So I just gotta grease these 2 up. I'll have them both ready to go in case we need them, and go from there. Well, guess I'll show you guys the bonus of having 2 rakes. Thought I should have been ready to go. And got grease in this thing. And look at that. And those things are a miserable SOB to change. You gotta take this, the whole bar off. That's the biggest problem with them. Getting that, not so much getting them off, getting that bar back on. You gotta take those stars kind of loose and pry them and get them just right. And those, there's 2 roller bearings in there. They're on a stud. And they're kind of in there. There's a snap ring up here, if I remember right, a snap ring and a seal. And then there's 2 roller bearings. And then there's a bearing seat down in there that if that gets screwed up, you can't hardly drive it out. There's no way to get at it. You can take those plugs out here and tap them a little bit. So basically what you got to do is go in there with a welder and weld that bearing seat, and that'll shrink it up, and generally it'll fall out. So it looks like this one ain't going to make it for the rye. I got grease in this one I bought over the winter. It looks like it's going to be okay. I ran it after I bought it, so I know the basket works, but apparently somebody didn't realize there was a grease cert for this pivot point here, and that is way too tight. So, and it won't take grease, obviously. So we'll have to pull that grease cert out, and we'll use that little tool again and see if we can get some penetrating oil up in there and get that loosened up. And I tell you, it's always something. So I guess I'll call this good enough here. Hopefully we'll be bailing by tomorrow. Hopefully, it's hard to say. And after that, we'll get working on that chopper and see what kind of trouble we get into on that. And the other rye we got to cut yet, I might chop yet. I haven't decided. And then we're going to have to haul manure again and plant the rest of the corn, go right into first crop hay, and run around like a bunch of chickens with your head cut off. Good times. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll catch everybody later.